So we just got some huge leaks from the set of The Mandalorian about The Mandalorian Season 3, and this isn't some random leaker, this isn't some random scooper, this is an actor from the set of The Mandalorian Season 3, someone who knows what's going to happen, someone who has seen scripts and kind of admits that he's seen scripts as well. Let's check it out. So I think we can all agree that The Mandalorian Season 2 finale is going to be pretty hard to top, and I pretty much think that all of us think the same way about where The Mandalorian should go for The Mandalorian Season 3. I think a lot of us want to explore the Darksaber stuff, explore who's going to get the Darksaber, who's going to rule Mandalore whenever it is retaken, because it's pretty obvious that that's the direction that they're going in, is that they're going to retake Mandalore along with Bo-Katan and all the other Mandalorians. Maybe the two creeds, talking about Din Djarin's creed and Bo-Katan's creed, will battle over Mandalore themselves, or maybe they will come together after some sort of smaller battle and defeat the Empire, retake Mandalore that way. But either way, it seems like they're going in the direction of retaking Mandalore. Now, I don't know if that'll happen in Season 3. I really hope it does. I really hope that that's the direction that they go in for Season 3. That's what I want to see. And I would be a little bit disappointed if they don't go in that direction for Season 3, but I can understand why they wouldn't. Maybe I've heard leaks, I've heard rumors, that's not going to happen until Season 4 or 5. And if they make Season 3 really good, I can accept it, but I really want them to do that in Season 3, and I still want to get a Season 4 or 5, but I want that to happen in Season 3. But I guess I would be okay if it didn't happen until 4 or 5, if they make it a huge event when it does happen, and maybe that will be the climactic, the cinematic event that they talked about at the Disney investor event, whenever they said that the Ahsoka show, Rangers, which probably not going to happen anymore since Gina Carano isn't there unless she comes back once Kathleen Kennedy leaves. But apparently Rangers, Ahsoka, and Mando Season 3, and maybe one other show that I'm forgetting. I don't think so though. But all three of those shows were supposed to come together for one climactic cinematic event. Maybe even theatrical. We don't even know. It could be a movie, could be a show. We don't know. I would think that it's probably a movie, maybe a streaming movie, but we don't know. They were supposed to come together for one event. Maybe that event would be the Battle of Mandalore, and we could see all the Rangers of the New Republic. We could see Ahsoka. We can maybe even see Luke and Grogu at the battle over Mandalore. And maybe, like I said, it could be the battle between the two creeds of Mandalorians. It could be the battle between the two creeds coming together against the Empire for Mandalore. We don't know. It could be anything. But we got some major leaks for The Mandalorian Season 3. Like I said, not from a random leaker, not from a random scooper. This isn't some of these people on YouTube that just make stuff up. This is from an actual actor, a stuntman that works on the set of Mandalorian Season 3 that has seen a script, and he kind of let that slip. He let it slip that he had seen a script, that he knows the storyline for Season 3, and then kind of backtracked a little bit, as actors normally do whenever they let things slip. We saw that with Ming-Na Wen whenever she accidentally leaked that Mace Windu would be in The Mandalorian, or at least in some sort of Star Wars content that Ming-Na Wen as Fennec Shand is also going to be in. Whenever she said that, and then she immediately backtracked after she said that as well. We see that all the time. Whenever actors let things slip that they aren't supposed to let slip, it happens all the time, especially with big secretive things like Star Wars and Marvel. But let's check out exactly what this actor, what this stuntman had to say about The Mandalorian Season 3. Brendan Wayne, who is the guy that pretty much plays Din Djarin, I would say most of the time, probably 85 to 90% of the time, he's the one in the Din Djarin suit. It's not normally Pedro Pascal unless he's taking the helmet off. It's usually Brendan Wayne because he has that really good walk. I guess he has a really cool walk. They talked about that a lot before Season 1. I remember they talked about Brendan Wayne's walk a lot for some reason. But Brendan Wayne teases Season 3 of The Mandalorian will be more like Season 1, and he also says some other things about certain characters like Grogu, who may or may not be showing up. Let's check it out. If you've been curious about what Season 3 of The Mandalorian will be like, stuntman Brendan Wayne recently spoke with the Star Wars Sessions podcast and teased that the third season will be more like the show's first. I think we've introduced the world in which Mando exists now. Not that there aren't going to be a lot of new things. I think there will be a lot less introductions and a lot more going back towards the first season of delving deeper into the character and things like that, I think. Wayne shared, he added, "Have I read one script? No. Have I heard some things? Sure. So I'm guessing, but I can tell you this. If anyone's going to be able to continue telling a story, it's Jon Favreau, and raising the stakes, it's Jon Favreau." So as you can see, he pretty much let it slip that he knows what the story is going to be, that he knows what's going to happen in Season 3, and then backtracked, like all actors do whenever they let things slip that they aren't supposed to let slip. It happens all the time. And then the article also goes on to say, at the end of last year, it was Wayne that broke the news that Pedro Pascal would be returning for The Mandalorian's third season. No spoilers. spoilers, but just in case the world didn't know yet, Pedro Pascal is incredible. The performer shared on Instagram. The journey they wrote for him last season was so beautiful. The fact that Pedro went beyond the page and made this epic. Thank you, Pedro. Yes, Pedro is coming back. There was never any question. Do not believe everything you read. So a big thing that a lot of people, including myself, a big problem that a lot of us had with The Mandalorian season 1 and 2. And I don't like the fact that he says that it's going to be more like season 1, because I feel like season 1 isn't that much different from season 2, and that there was a lot of introductions, a lot of Mando going to one planet, meeting someone, introducing this character, and then he has to do something for that planet or for that person, whatever it is. He has to do something for some sort of city whenever he had to teach all those people in the village how to fight. It's just a trope that has been done so many times, and it's straight up a video game plot. I love The Mandalorian. I think it's really good. I think it's some of the best Star Wars that we've gotten ever since the Disney purchase, for sure. Maybe even the best Star Wars after that season 2 finale. The season 2 finale is great. The emotions that The Mandalorian brings to me is something that Star Wars hasn't done ever since the prequel trilogy. But it could be so much better if they did away with this video game plot. If they gave us some really good plots, some really deep plot lines instead of this surface level stuff. And yes, you throw characters like Luke Skywalker at us and they're done very well, then we're gonna get emotional about it. You throw characters like R2-D2, you throw Grogu in there, who's a baby Yoda, a character that we all know and love. We all know and love Yoda. So when we see a little baby Yoda, we instantly have a connection to that character. So at times, it just feels like The Mandalorian is a little bit too shallow. It feels like it's a little bit too much nostalgia being thrown at us and a lackluster plot. It just feels like that sometimes. So I hope what Brendan Wayne means by this isn't that the season 3 of The Mandalorian is going to be more like season 1, but more that he means that it's not going to be so many introductions to certain people. Go do this for me, go do that for me, meet another person on another planet, do the same thing over again. That's what I really don't want to happen with The Mandalorian season 3, because that's what I've hated about season 1 and 2. Like I said, I've loved The Mandalorian. There's so many great moments that have made me feel so many emotions that I haven't felt ever since the Disney purchase, but we cannot have another season of a video game plot. I remember thinking back in season 1, after episode 1 and 2, I was very disappointed with the show. Everyone was loving the show so much, and I'm just like, why can't I like this show? Because at the time, I really wasn't into that much of the Star Wars space when it came to the internet. I was kind of just consuming Star Wars and just loving it. But after The Last Jedi, I did feel a little bit like, I don't know if that was really that much Star Wars-y, you know? Like The Force Awakens, maybe a lot of people out there didn't like it. It didn't have a great plot or whatever. It was a little bit of copy and paste of A New Hope. But it felt like Star Wars, at least in my opinion. You can disagree with that, or you can agree with that. I don't care. Back when I saw that, it was 2015. I was pretty young. It was a long time ago at this point. It felt like Star Wars to me anyway. But when I saw The Mandalorian after seeing The Last Jedi, I was kind of like, okay, this isn't really that good to me. You know, season 1 or episode 1 and 2, I was just like, this isn't blowing me away. This is kind of mediocre. And everyone else was just loving it so much. And I'm just like, why can't I like this show? Why can't I like this Star Wars content? This is very frustrating. This never happened to me before. And then I saw The Rise of Skywalker and I was like, okay, something is going wrong here, you know? But after episode 1 and 2 of The Mandalorian, whenever all those Mandalorians show up at the end of episode 3, that's when I really got hooked. And I was like, okay, this show can be really cool, but it just seems like repetitively the show is mediocre. And then a big moment happens, like when those Mandalorians showed up to save Din Djarin in episode 3 of season 1. It seems like those moments kind of saved the show. It's kind of like The Bad Batch right now. For me, the plot is just not there. I just don't care about the plot of the show, but I want to watch these episodes to see who shows up in the end, to see the cameos. That's the only reason why I'm watching the show, and it felt kind of similar for The Mandalorian. The plot is just not there. The plot isn't some mind-blowing plot, but I want to see Grogu do some cool stuff. I want to see him learn about the Force. I want to see these big moments like the Mandalorians coming back to save Din Djarin, or like Luke Skywalker showing up in the finale. That really saved season 2 for me. I wasn't that excited about season 2. I wasn't that impressed with season 2. Another thing that saved season 2 for me was Boba Fett showing up and doing Boba Fett stuff. It was really cool. But that wasn't like some plot-driven thing. It wasn't like Boba Fett was set up so well and it was so deeply embedded in the plot and we can't believe that we didn't see it coming. It was none of that. We saw it coming the whole way. They set it up perfectly in episode 1. And when I say perfectly, I don't mean they set it up perfectly to be some mind-blowing reveal. They set it up perfectly for us to all know that was eventually going to come. It wasn't a great plot line, but the fact that Boba Fett shows up and does Boba Fett stuff, it just saves the show, it saves the season. And also, I've heard, another leak that I've heard from Brendan Wayne from that podcast is that Grogu's not going to show up in season 3. That's a huge draw from the show that will be gone. Obviously, I'm going to watch the show. I love this show. I think it's a great show. I'm talking badly about it in this video, but I love this show. I think Grogu not showing up is going to take away a lot of the casual viewers, and it's gonna hurt the numbers. It's definitely going to hurt the numbers unless they make a big bang in some other way. Unless they have a Luke Skywalker type cameo, which I don't think could ever happen again. I think that was a once in a lifetime moment for Star Wars there. Great moment, legendary moment, one of the best. It's definitely the best moment of the Disney era for sure. But let me know what you guys think about all these leaks that we talked about in this video from Brendan Wayne, and also the no Grogu in season 3 as well. What do you think is going to happen to the numbers for the Mandalorian season 3 with no Grogu? I think it's going to take a big hit, but let me know what you guys think about what Brendan Wayne said about season 3 being more like season 1, or maybe doing away with the video game type plot altogether. I would really like that a lot. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you did enjoy this video, please leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. If you want to follow me on Twitter or on the Discord, both those links will be in the description as well. Thank you for watching the video. Hope to see you in the next one.